which is why I wanted to ask you this next question surrounding sobriety and addiction, because it seems like a lot of music is pushing a narrative that it's okay to do those things and live in an addictive mindset. So what's your story with addiction? And you mentioned to us that you had quite a story with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Whew. I got sober 12 years ago, a little over 12 years ago, right? So,
Let's go.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it wasn't and it took, I had to try a bunch of times, right? I had to try a good 4 times before, God willing, this time, right? Which is hopefully the last time. Yeah, I like to think when I was growing up that the music wasn't influencing me. I listened to a lot of hip hop, a lot of Wu-Tang Clan,
Oh yeah.
lot of Nas, like the old school hip hop. And I like, at the time, if you were to say, it's like old folks would yell at you like, "Oh, this is rotten. This is the devil's music," or I don't like what the explicit lyrics and the stuff they're talking about. And at the time, I say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," like, uh, and you couldn't tell me at the time that this stuff was influencing me, right? But as I look back, I'm listening to whatever XYZ, and we're drinking 40s, smoking blunts, and the music is talking about that, right? It's talking explicitly about that most of the time. Is it the gateway music? Is weed the gateway drug? I don't know. I think from my experience, I could say, yeah. I think these things absolutely played a role in my drug addiction moving forward. So yeah, because these are the first time listening to this music was the first time I tried alcohol, was the first time I tried marijuana, right? Which led to other things, and then as I progressed in my addiction, whether it was heroin or things like that, it got really serious. That put me in a perpetual negative state of mind, where then the music I'm choosing to listen to is feeding that as well. So I would go
Reinforcing, yeah.
reinforcing that. So I'm like, there was a time when I was really into like dark hip hop, right? Like really dark stuff. That would get into topics of just like murder rap, they would call it, and just like Islam and like really dark stuff, right? I don't even really I don't even know what they're talking about. Like it just kind of like went hand in hand with my drug use, right? Kind of fed the state of mind that I was in. So absolutely, these things are all tied together for sure.
What is the lowest moment in that process? Where was that moment that you said you needed to change? Because again, I've had a lot of addiction with people in my family, some of my closest friends that have almost died. So that prevented me from getting into it because I saw their life being destroyed. So I always like to ask people, what is that lowest moment where you finally said, I have to change, or maybe I'm going to die? Did you have a moment like that?
100%. I've had many moments, right? I've had the physical moments where I've overdosed, I've had the moments where where I was just really broke and I wanted the support of my parents again. So I was going to use that sort of, cry to them. And so that I could get their support again, maybe financially or the place to live. But I wasn't planning on really giving up drugs and alcohol. And so there's all types of moments you go through when you're trying to get sober. And for me, the last moment, though it wasn't maybe the rock bottom that people I could describe of, just like, sleeping on people's floors or, walking the streets late at night to buy certain drugs with like an old man, and how like weird that would look, like if like these moments, those all happen. But for me, the last moment it was a spiritual moment, right? I came to a place where I couldn't, I could no longer, I felt like I couldn't go on with or without drugs and alcohol. And so it wasn't the rock bottom that would make for a good movie. in that, like in that particular time, but it was kind of this spiritual moment of having a small window of willingness for 10 minutes to try to get sober, and reaching out to somebody and them responding. And it's just very much a timing thing. There's this little bit of willingness, which, if an hour or two passed and the drug man had shown up and delivered me something, I wouldn't have, that I would have kept going. Right. But it's sort of this like spiritual moment, and having the willingness to ask for help, and then taking the help. That, that for me was the final straw.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said you tried 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah.
What was different the final time? Because I know people that have struggled with drugs for 20 to 30 years, and they've done every rehab, dude. They've done tried to get deliverance. I mean, you name it. They've gone to a lodge and just sweated it out for days.
Ashwagandha. They've tried iboga in treatment centers in Mexico.
They've done everything. What was different the last time? Because we want to give hope to people, right? Because a lot of you watching might still be going through this. What was different the final time?
Everybody was sick of me at that point, right? All my loved ones, all my friends.
You wore out the goodwill of the people with you?
What's that?
You wore out all the goodwill of all your friends?
Absolutely. I mean, they would be there, to answer the phone, but they were not trying to feed into my bullshit anymore,
Yeah.
So, so really that was the moment where you decide, like, I got to do this for myself. There's no like amount of people asking me to get better that's ever going to work. My mother crying over and over, my girlfriend begging me, talking about all the hurt I caused. And none of that was going to wake me up, right? Because when you're in that cycle of addiction, you'll walk over anybody. Like, the people you love the most, you're willing to hurt them. It's no problem, as crazy as that sounds. So it was none of that. It was just a moment of nobody left, right? Except myself,
You had your David Goggins moment.
Exactly.
Just having to do it.
There's nobody left, There's nobody left. No one's gonna bail me out of my bullshit anymore. No one's gonna co-sign my crap. So
it sounds like there's no secret formula, right?
What's that?
There's really no secret formula. It's just a choice. You have to make a decision that you're done. And you can ask for help and, seek recovery and make the necessary steps. But it sounds like there's no secret, which is actually hopium to the audience, because you just have to make that decision to get up and start moving.
Right. Everybody's looking for the secret, right? The secret. The longer I've been sober, it's almost like the less I know. I feel like I feel like I know less about how to get sober. So, you have that moment, man, and you either take advantage of it or you don't.
If you enjoyed this video, you can check out another one right here, and check out the entire podcast right here.